Dear students of English Honours, at first I wish you a very misty morning, a morning of mist, snow and mellow, as John Keats in his poem Ode to Autumn says. It's a very lovely season. It's a season of mist, snow, cold, a very tasty season, because this season too has its own song, has its own music, has its own utility. So we are enjoying this, and I hope that all of you must be enjoying the videos which have been prepared and sent for you people having the different tests of the origin of English language, its growth, how English language has started its journey at the point of AD 449, and the journey which has started at that particular time continued up to this date, and hope it will continue and English will go a long way as it has traveled. Dear students, I have told you about the Old English period, about its characteristics, about its salient features, telling you that it has the runic alphabet, it has 4 dialects: Northumbrian, Mercian, West Saxon and Kentish, and there was a king and his name was King Alfred, and that period when he was ruling over England was a very glorious period. It was a fantastic period as far as English language is concerned, because he did his yeoman service, he did his best to make the English language scuttle, to make the English language run as fast as possible. It was he who called in so many scholars from different countries and got the books written in Latin, particularly religious books written in Latin, translated in English language, and that was a glorious phase, that was a glorious time when English language got enriched. Then in AD 1066, England once again gets a historical change when the Normans, the French people, attacked England, the Anglo-Saxon, and now Anglo-Saxons were enslaved. They have been defeated and England became the colony of France. And of course, in Middle English period, two things have taken place, two important things have taken place. The first was the invention of the printing press in 1476 by William Caxton at the Westminster Abbey of England, and the second was the great and glorious vowel shift. Of course, there were 5 dialects in Middle English: Northern, Southern, East Midland, West Midland and Kentish, and English language got the very ill treatment from the hands of the Normans, from the hands of the French people. Of course, French becomes the language of rule, language of the court, language of the royalty, language of the higher strata, language of education, language of administration, language of business, language of commerce, language of everyday to-day life, and English language just survived at that point because of the main reason that it continued to be the language of the mass. The mass people, the common people, they continue to write English, they continue to speak English, they continue to use English in their day-to-day life. And as I have discussed in previous videos, it was the interrelationship, it was the intermarriages that have played a very vital role in the growth and progress or development of English language. And one more important, or rather the very important thing that has taken place at that period was this, that the French people, no doubt, they ruled over England, they ruled over the Anglo-Saxons for 150 years, and after that they have surrendered. They were not in a position to rule over them, and they handed over the government, they handed over the power, they handed over the reign into the hands of the Anglo-Saxons, and once again it was the heyday, it was a sunny day, it was a very very glorious day for English language, and English language once again started scuttling on the road of growth, on the road of development, on the road of progress, and there was English and English and English once again in the very atmosphere, in the very air of England. This period continued, and this period ends in AD 1500, and AD 1500 marks the beginning of modern English period. And as I have told you, modern English period has also been divided into two phases. The first one is modern English first, and the second one is modern English second. Modern English first is the period when English language gets confined to the boundary of England. जब वो अंग्रेजी इंग्लैंड की सीमा पर, इंग्लैंड की चारदीवारी, इंग्लैंड की जो बाउंड्री है, इंग्लैंड की जो सीमा है, उसके अंदर तक अंग्रेजी सीमित रहती है. मतलब अंग्रेजी इज यूज्ड, इंग्लिश इज यूज्ड only in England. That phase, that particular period is modern English first, but modern English second opens the door, opens the windows, opens the every country rather opens the opportunity for English language, because after Industrial Revolution, English or England comes out with a very mighty country. It gets more and more power, and that might of England makes that country, makes them desirous of making colonies or spreading their strength, spreading their might, their country, and that imperialism of their got so many countries enslaved, and India, you know, unfortunately India was one of them. So this was the very particular phase, this was a very particular time for English language, because this was the time, this was the period when English language was on the road to become an international language. I have told you time and again, at that time English was not an international language, it was not a lingua franca, it was not a link language, but that was the vital time, that was the vital moment, because it was a time when English language was on that way. And you know, of course, that particular period was very important, and you know what has happened, and English language got spread into the whole world, you can say. It has journeyed, or it has traveled to almost all the parts of the world, and today there is no country where English is not used. English is used as L1, that is your mother tongue. English is used as L2, that is a second language, and in many countries English is used as FL, that is foreign language. Countries like UK, USA, Ireland, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, all South Africa, all these countries use English as L1. It means English is the mother tongue there in those countries. And some of the Anglo Indians also have their mother tongue, that is English, and it means they use English as their mother tongue. Then countries like some Asian countries, or some African countries, some Asian and African countries like India, Singapore, Malaysia, Nigeria, Namibia, Botswana, all such countries use English as second language. So we Indians use English as L2, that means the second language, because our mother tongue, our official language is Hindi, the great Hindi, the glorious Hindi, the grand Hindi. And there are some countries like China, Japan, UAE, Saudi Arabia, Egypt, Iraq, Ethiopia, France, Germany, Brazil, or such countries use English as FL, that is the foreign language. That means in such countries English is taught to the students as the language of foreign country, that means foreign language. So English by this way or that is used all over the world. As I have told you that without English presently the life gets crippled. Life comes to a standstill, you can say, because it is the warmth, it is the power, it is the might of English, it is the charger of English that keeps the battery of life, the battery of day-to-day activities, you can say, charged, and everything continues. So English is the language of international trade. English is the language of international commerce, international business. English is the language of international sports meet. English is the language of airports. English is the language of advertisement. English is the language of traffic control. English is the language of seminars, symposium, diplomacy. English is ruling. Rather, English rules the every field of life. So English has got globalized. Everywhere we use English and English is used. So, and what happened, of course, you have seen or you have noticed this fact very well, that the colonization played a very important role in the growth and development of English language, and English language got the opportunity to travel, to visit different parts of the world, and it has started ruling the roost there. It has become the language of government. It has become the language of day-to-day life, rather, in almost all those countries. So no doubt it has also strengthened English language, but the decolonization was the period when the countries which were enslaved, or which were colonized, or which had been colonized by the English or by England, started getting themselves freed. So those countries started getting their independence slowly, gradually. So it has also played a very, very important role in strengthening English. It has also enriched English. That is the period of decolonization. America was also a slave to England. America got freedom. So in the Americans had national pride, rather. They were the very nationalistic people. So they decided to use English. They decided to use English as L1, rather, as their mother tongue. But since they were very nationalistic, they thought to use English by bringing some changes to it. They brought some changes in the spelling of so many words. They brought some grammatical changes also in so many grammatical rules. At the same time, they have their own pronunciation. So you must have noticed this fact very well, that some English like spellings of some of the words like color, C-O-L-O-R. We Indians, of course, we Indians also got our independence. We also got freed. We also have the time to enjoy our freedom, to test our freedom. But we Indians It might be the lack of some national pride, or there might be some other reasons. I do not want to go into that particular field or into that particular area. But we Indians continue to follow British English. We continue to speak, read, write, pronounce the way English has been used by the people of Britain, by the English, or by England rather. But the Americans did not follow that English, that British English, blindly rather. They used it, they are using it, of course, no doubt, but they are using it by bringing some differences, as we write the spelling of color COLOUR, but the Americans write COLOR. We write program PROGRAMME, but they write PROGRAM. Likewise, we write defense, DEFENCE. They write the word. It has brought rather a sea change that I am discussing with you. The decolonization has brought a sea change in the very nature, in the very characteristic of English language, and now we have different varieties of English language, and among these varieties we have two the very most important varieties, that I had been discussing with you people, that is American English and British English. American English is known as President's English, as King's English, and whereas British English is known as Queen's English. It is also known as RP English, that is the received pronunciation, you can say. So Americans have no doubt, Americans have differentiated their spelling in so many cases. They have differentiated their grammatical rule in so many cases. At the same time, they have differentiated that their pronunciation also. And you might have noticed, and you might be noticing all these changes. That is all the changes which are between the American English and the British English. So now new varieties. New varieties, new national varieties of English also came, like American English, Australian English, Canadian English, etc., Indian English, Nigerian English. So English language got you can say different varieties, you can say, and now this growth of English language has improved its literature also. ये जो इम्प्रूवमेंट हो रहा था, ये जो डिफरेंट वेराइटीज आ रही थी इंग्लिश की, वो उन लोगों ने उन वेराइटीज ने अंग्रेजी साहित्य को बहुत समृद्ध किया. Every living language has or is supposed to have a very strong and rich literature, and English is very, very lucky in this case, because it has a very rich literature. बहुत समृद्ध साहित्य है अंग्रेजी का. The literature which has started with the dark age, with the dark period in Old English, when none was interested writing in English because of the lack of court patronage, because of the help. got changed miraculously with the change of environment, with the change of situation. And that English has such a vast and varied literature that we people, the English people, are proud of their literature. They are proud of their writers. English language has produced writers like Chaucer, Writers like Spencer, Milton, Shakespeare, Ben Jonson, Marlowe, Alexander Pope, John Dryden, Dr. Johnson, Wordsworth, Shelley, Keats, Coleridge, Byron, Blake, E.M. Foster, D.S. Lawrence, T.S. Eliot, Ezra Pound, F.R. Lewis. There are long list of the literatures who served English, who contributed a lot in the growth and development and enriching of English language. And English language got strengthened, English literature got strengthened in every field, in every field, in the field of poem, that is in the field of poetry, in the field of novel, in the field of fiction, in the field of non-fictional writing, in the field of drama. So in the field of biography, autobiography, diary writing, memoir, travelogue. So almost there was no field, there was no branch of literature that kept aloof. But all these things have happened, have taken place gradually and gradually, slowly and slowly, bit by bit. As you know this fact very well, that when we plant a plant, when we soil a plant, rather, when we plant a plant, so offshoots come to that particular plant one by one, gradually and gradually, bit by bit, slowly and slowly. All the offshoots do not come to the plant at one time. So, different genres, G-E-N-R-E-S, different genres of literature also came into English, came into English at phase wise, you can say, slowly and slowly, bit by bit. So we will discuss all these things. First of all, we will discuss the story of poetry, rather. Then we will have to discuss the story of drama, and we will discuss again the story of novel. Who were the first poets, from where the poetry has started in English language, and then what happened. First, what is a drama? Who were the first dramatists? What was the nature of drama when it has started taking its course? And once again, we will see what is a novel, who were the first novelists, and what is the concept of novel. All these things we will discuss gradually and gradually, bit by bit, one by one. Now, English, we will discuss also the future of English, because Latin before the birth of English language in AD 449, Latin was the language. Latin was the most important language. Latin was as powerful as the English language is at present. But what happened with Latin? We fear also that a mighty language like Latin, if gets diluted, if get powerless, you can say, or less powerful, you can say, it might be English might take that same course. हो सकता है अंग्रेजी भाषा का वही हश्र हो जो लैटिन भाषा का. But it might not be the same. ऐसा नहीं भी हो सकता है. English language might continue to rule the roost. English language might continue to flourish. English language might continue to scale different heights. So both can be, the things can go between both the directions. English can go to any direction. It will, the time that will show it, because it cannot be, none can be so confirmed to tell you, to guess it at present. However, the present situation, the present might, the present power, the present popularity, the present grandness, the present the glorious and bright present of English language makes it quite clear that it must enjoy the same grandness. It must have the same glorious future. It must have the same bright future. But we have to see what happens, and time will tell all these things. So when we meet in our next video, we will discuss the story of poetry. We will discuss what is a poetry, which thing is known as poetry, what is the origin of poetry, what role does poetry play in our life, what is the function of poetry, what is the difference between prose and poetry, because every literature has been divided at first into two forms or two groups. One is prose, that is gadya, and the other is poetry, that is padya. So there must be some differences between the prose and poetry. We will discuss which type of words are used in poetry, what is the role of figures of speech in poetry, how does poetry play a very important role in the life of human being. We will discuss also the use of music in poetry, the use of words in poetry. So we will discuss the poets who started, who went for writing poetry, and who were the persons, the poets who have enriched English poetry in such a way. So all these things will be discussed bit by bit, slowly and slowly, gradually and gradually, and all of you are requested to go through the video, to listen to it with great sincerity. Of course, I hope, it's my hope that all these things, all these videos are going to enrich you, are going to inform you. You are going to have different information regarding English language, and it will lit up your curiosity to go through the history of English language and literature. If you want to have the rich knowledge, if you want to pull you with information regarding English language or literature, you must go through the books. The different books are there in the market upon the history of English language and literature. So if you go through the books, those books are going to inform you, those books are going to help you a lot in understanding the characteristics of English language and literature. So for the students of graduation, for the students of English honors, that book. Ready?
Yes, sir.
So all of you are requested to go through the videos, send your comments, send your some of your suggestions also, so that I might get the chance to do something more useful for you people. So go through the videos, send some comments, send some suggestions also, so that I might make my videos more useful, full of utility for you people. Thank you. God bless you all.